Hi, Sam Tobert from Sound of Joy Music Services. And we're asking a question for the musician community out there who are looking to become the best they possibly can be. The power of piano, unlocking your musical potential. Where inside of you lies dormant the ability to be creative on the piano or in music in general. We have singers who have untapped voices until they bring them out in choirs, maybe a local church choir or a high school or a school choir. And then all of a sudden, a trained ear can hear a vocal level. A musician who has dedicated themselves to mastering the audible sounds of tones, listening to them, the placement of chords, can hear a youngster sitting to a piano and just watch them pick up without any lessons something audible that they heard. Potential, the chance that a musical genius is unheard yet and then gets that opportunity to branch out just by having some musical device, be it a keyboard or an instrument, placed in front of them. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. You know, when you, I think I'm getting a double voice here. Let me check this. There it is. When you sit down to a piano and for your very first time, your first your first indication is to play on multiple keys because you really don't know. I want to change my Cordy app setting. There we go. You really don't know what you're hearing. It's not until you begin to recognize high, middle, low, lower, and that each key has a certain tone assigned to it. Now, of course, those who are come up in some places, you have a piano that's a little bit detuned. So now that messes with what you're hearing. You don't really get that really correct sound in your ear when you get to a piano that has been tuned. In this case, most keyboards are tuned all the time. They never go flat, which is great about technology, that you no longer have to have a person come in and tune your spinet piano as I had to do in my days. So you can hear pure tones in their proper place. Now, when do they get improper? That's when the musician begins to learn the basics. Roll, roll, roll your boat is some of the early songs that a music teacher will sit down with a student because they want to hear, can they audibly repeat what they hear before they look at it on paper? So you want to ask yourself, what can you hear through your ears? I know we like to use gospel musicians were picked up the actual nomenclature of playing by ear. I say I play by hear. Put that H on it. I have to be able to hear where the notes are highest to the lowest and then find all the other notes that are in between. This is before written sheet music was made available to me. So I struggled as a young musician hearing the notes, but did not know, is this the key of C? Is it in the key of A flat? Is it in the key of E flat? Because that letter C resides in several key pitches. So I had to understand what is the melody that I'm hearing. And keep repeating it because it still didn't make sense to me as a young musician. We're talking about 7 or 8 years old, hearing tones and not really understanding what I was hearing, but I could hum it. Ba, 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 bum. Ba, ba, bum, ba, bum, ba, ba, bum. So once I began to accept the fact that let me try to learn what I'm hearing or hum it. I used to love to watch cartoons. From the Popeye cartoons. So I can hear that, but I did not have the formal training to show me how to manipulate my fingers to go to where those notes are. If I want to go and change keys, once I learned the placement of scales, then I found it easy to do any run that I could hear in my head in any key because I look for the common tone. Now we're taught whole, whole, half, half, as far as the scale tones. And anything that's off from that will throw your ears off. As I say, if you're playing a detuned piano, your ears are now struggling. But if you become comfortable knowing the placement of your fingers, which is muscle memory, then you become comfortable playing on an actual detuned piano. Let me see. Trying to remember. I think it was the no, that's not the Entertainer, but I used to practice that, trying to figure out what are they doing. Bum, bum. So it became a time for me to grow musically, but not until I got into um, an actual high school band where I began to learn different songs that were all scripted on paper. That I began to see the relationship of chords in a band setting. I could now take that same philosophy and go to my piano and look at a sheet which would have the notes designated. This is middle C. That's E. That's G. Put those three together. C, E, G. That's a C major chord. Invert that. First inversion, second inversion. Once I began to accept the theory, I had to walk away a little bit from what I was hearing in my ears to apply the theory. Then when I would listen again to other musicians more skilled than me at that time play, I could hear them jumping around. But I didn't understand, how were they getting here? So practice came into play. Now, a lot of musicians don't like that word, practice. They want to be quickly spoon-fed the chords so they can just jump and be, as they call, fantastic in the spur of the moment. I enjoyed practice because that meant it gave me a chance to work on where my deficiencies were. If I was slow on my scales, That's what I would work on. How can I get faster? Wherever my deficiencies were, that's what I would work on. Now, again, I'm just rumbling through it now. Not because I wanted to impress somebody, because I wanted to know how fast can I get my fingers trained, number one, make sure there's no pain in them, get my hands moving. If you ever notice, I don't play like this. I do not bang. My fingers, as they say, do the walking. They're walking all over the keyboard because I took the time to look at the sound, how to become more technique orientated. I'm going to be talking to the Nashville number system. Let me see if I still have that up on my page. No, that's the Circle of Force I was doing. I have a write-up on the Nashville number system because I was never taught the number system. I was taught scales, chords, progressions, movement in my upbringing as a young musician. So when I began to hear people talk to the number system, and they would ask me, "Well, what is the one chord?" And I go, "One, okay. Well, root chord is to me is one, and then if you want to count, a minor is two, another minor is three, a major is four, a major is five, another minor is six, and a diminished is seven." And I would always question when I would hear people talk to the number system, how do they know what chord they're going to put? If they're going to be in the one, this chord is in the one. 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 How do they know if they're in a structure of chording, what chord is going to be used there? Because the musician that plays on their experience, they're always looking to improve and to embark upon another way of playing a particular song. If I'm doing Mary Had a Little Lamb, in the one, the five, back to the one, back to the one, back to the five. That's great in your learning phases. But as the musician begins to grow, he's going to unlock his potential, and he wants to hear more than one chord. All these chords. Again, the big chords. That's when the potential begins to open up as the musician begins to hear varying styles of familiar music, which is part of the practice routines that I learned. As I learned a song in one key, I would automatically raise it up a half a level, go down half a step, just so I can see the other fingering or the muscle memory that's going to happen. For those that like to play total praise, it's done in the key of D flat. I immediately went up to D with it. There it is. There it is. been a while since I practiced it in D, but I wanted to be able to see how did the fingering change, the muscle memory part of it, and then can I, as you saw me struggling there, I had to hear the chords again. As my fingers got comfortable. Now I'm comfortable. There we go. Only from committing myself to the discipline of practicing scales in every key, hearing the tones, which is the hear part, not playing by ear. I don't put my head down on the piano and bang, but I hear where the notes could possibly be. I pick a range. What notes don't I hear? So if I don't hear that note, I don't play it. But if I hear this note, then that's the one I know. Okay, I'm in the ballpark. Go back and hear it again. That's wrong. Ah, that's right. And then I'll look at the keyboard and I'll go, okay. And my hands will automatically lock in. And now I don't have to worry about what key that I'm in, because I know I want to hear a G7, F sharp 7, minor, major 7, major, diminished, no, not diminished, but minor 6, G minor 6, with a C bass. Again, the inversions. If I want to do a scale, I can do the scales. If I want to get a little jazzy, for those who love the preacher chords, there we go. Dum 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 bum 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 bum. I'm trying to do jazz. Dum dum. There it is. Those like the tritones. I had to hear that in my head first, and then find the notes that are not being played. E over D. There it is. So all of these are results of hearing, number one, and then sitting down to the keyboard and applying all that practice that I have been investing in, not just, the major scales, but the chromatic scales. So they say no note is left behind. So if I play these chromatic scales and my ear hears every note that is in that scale, so if I want to do the flight of the bumblebee, I may not be doing it correctly, but I'm in the ballpark of the flight of the bumblebee. And look, my fingers are doing the moving. A good exercise for a musician is to learn those classical pieces that they don't normally do, because that helps to train the hands how to move so that you can think of a run or an arpeggio and just do it. G, C minor, F minor, A flat major, G, B major. If I use the sustained pedal, you get that effect. G, C, potential. How do you unlock that potential? Set yourself up a practice routine. Give yourself time to listen. Number two, first you set your practice routine. Number two, to listen, and then begin to apply basic piano theory, which means what you saw me doing there: note recognition, chord recognition. Learn to become proficient at touch. Let's switch to another scene I have here. This is the one. Touch, where you can see how soft can you play in every key, and how accurate can you be in being soft. Change key, go down, just to get knowledgeable on where the notes are, how comfortable you can be at playing them as soft as possible, and begin to gradually build up speed. Almost do it without looking. I'm looking at the camera, but because I'm used to doing this, well, actually I can see my picture doing this. But this is the things I would practice as a young musician, so that if I heard someone do, I knew this is what they were doing. They were rocking their fingers, but which ones do you rock? Pinky, thumb to pinky, depending upon the size of your hand. So when I would hear someone do that musically, I could go, okay. If I hear them go to the sixth, which is the A minor, especially in gospel, musicians are so free in what they're doing. To catch them, you'd have to almost be sitting there with them when they break into their. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. It is a wonderful thing when you have begin to unlock your potential in music. Here at Sound of Joy, we are dedicated to giving the musicians everything that we have through books, through search engines on the internet. I am now a user of Chat GPT. I'm using that to help set lessons in a format that a beginner to an advanced musician can benefit from. We're here to make sure that we can assist you if you're in an area where you don't have a music teacher or a mentor to help you, to assist you in unlocking your potential. That's what we here at Sound of Joy are looking to do. Look for some more lessons coming, some more live sessions where we will be implementing a lot of these new techniques that we are adapting. I myself, I am taking jazz courses so that I can get better understand the number system and the application to today's music. Sam Tobit, Sound of Joy Music Services. We believe in the scriptures, Psalms 101, make a joyful noise unto the Lord. Until the next time, take care.